Apocalypse Tips with Lester Pipps is the show that you're currently watching. It's about to start with his amazing guests, and they gonna tell you how to survive out in the apocalypse. This way you won't be dead if anything was to attack humanity and try to end it. So now you gotta show up with your ears and your eyes and watch the show. It's Apocalypse Tips with Lester Pipps. Okay, yeah, that's the show. That's what the show is. I just explained the whole show in that song. And by I of course, mean the wonderful musician, Dr. Ron Rabanak, who made that song. Hey, he's brother of legendary New Orleans jazz blues musician, Dr. John, who you probably should have heard of. If you ain't, well, go look him up. I just did you a favor. Now, you was watching the show. It's called Apocalypse Tips. I'm Lester Pipps. And what we're going to do is we're going to talk about how he's going to survive apocalypse. I mean, I already defined it in the song, and by I of course mean Dr. Ron. So look, you already know what's happening. I don't have to repeat myself. It's a new song, okay? I'm not used to this. Normally, I do have to say a lot of stuff that Dr. Ron didn't say, but in this case, I don't, which is kind of cool. But I still did it. Look, sometimes change is hard, and if you're watching the show, you probably know there's like a whole big change happening in America, hopefully, and hopefully that change isn't hard. But we're not gonna harp on that, okay? We're gonna be a little bit of an escape for folks. So what we're doing is we're gonna get into what kind of apocalypses could happen, how we're gonna survive them, and mostly actually not even do that and just get to know my guests, who I'm so excited to get on the show. They's all gonna be coming up later. At the end of the show, we're going to talk to a servant to the Ancient One, which who knows what that means. Hopefully he does. We're going to find out. We're also going to talk to a stand-up comedian named Lauren Baker. And we're going to talk to a self-taught chef named Richard Watson, which, that's coming up real soon. But before we get to that, we're going to do a little bit of a thing, which is like the thing that I do at the beginning of every show, which is I explain what apocalypses could happen. Because like we already know about all the COVIDs out there trying to get in through your lungs, eat your eyeballs, trying to maybe drown you in like the sweat that they give off when they're working really hard. That's what COVID is trying to do, something like that. It's also possible that like a big tree could get really mad, throw all its leaves at you, and that could be an apocalypse for you individually. Let's see, another possible apocalypse. I don't know, maybe Venus gets real mad too. And Venus is, I'm talking about not the planet, but like the brand of women's razors, maybe that brand gets really mad and all the razors start attacking folks. That could be an apocalypse. So look, there's a lot of things we got to prepare for. That's what I'm saying. And what I would say is the best way to survive an apocalypse, the first step anyway, is to make sure you know what's important to you. Okay? And let me give you an example that is what's important to me. Now, I, of course, am from Louisiana. As you can tell by this accent, it's very clear. This is a very natural accent because I was born here. I'm living right outside Baton Rouge, Louisiana, in this bunker that's in the backyard of my wife's house. It's down under the ground. Yeah, look, you get how bunkers work. If you're not already in one, you should be. We all know that. But prior to all these COVIDs being up in the air trying to melt your brains with their sweat or whatever, there was a time when I would go door to door to whatever open mic situation I could get my hands on, which for the most part was not lectures at big colleges like I wanted, but instead comedy open mics in the Los Angeles area. And I would do this thing where I would get up there and I'd be like, hey, here's how you survive apocalypses, because I want folks to know. And then also while I was in those towns, I would go to every single Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen franchise location and try to get them to give me the recipe, because as everybody knows, the most important thing to a guy from Louisiana is Louisiana culture, which means we got to make sure that the recipe and all necessary ingredients for them Popeyes cheese chicken are in the bunker so that we have it in the future. Because what's the dang point of living in a world where people don't know what Louisiana tastes like? I can't think of a single dang point. Rachel Resnick in the chat, Rach Resnick, excuse me. I don't know her full name. It's her name and is only the name I see. Rach Resnick says this bunker is really nice, which that's a great point. I'm glad you brought that up, Rach. Now what you're seeing behind me is a projection of a big, good bunker, because I don't want you to get jealous of my even bigger, gooder bunker. I don't want you to see that I got a fully functioning Popeyes location down here that I renamed Pipps. I don't want you to see that. I don't want you to see that and think I could never have that. Because no, you could have this, or it's like some other bunker. Yeah, it's true. You can't have mine, but like you can have a good one still, and I want that for you. I really do. So anyway, first thing you got to do, figure out what's important to you. For me, it's Louisiana. We figured that out already. For you, it's whatever it is, Identify that thing. Make sure you have it in your bunker so that you'll have it after the apocalypse. Number 2, you got to consider like how you're not going to die, which is like, I don't know, get some cream corn or something or some water or something. I don't know, whatever you got to do. And then number 3 would probably just be like, how's you not going to go insane? Which for me is live streaming a show once a week where I talk to other folks who also want to survive apocalypses and make sure that folks watching know how they're going to survive apocalypses, which is what I do. So now look, we're going to get to the guests in just a minute. If you're watching the show and using the chat, like Rach Resnick here, who already made a comment, so she already knows what to do. What you should do is participate, because like I have a lot of questions for the guests, but maybe you do too, and you can ask them. You can even ask me questions if you want. But yeah, that's what happens. Now we are going to get to the chat. You might be thinking to the guests, excuse me. You might be thinking if you watched the show before, hey, are you going to do that thing where you try to get people to tell you which Rach Resnick calling me out. I don't know. If you yeah. Anyway, you might be thinking, are you gonna do that thing where you try to get people to suggest you a Popeyes franchise location so you can describe how to break into it because you got all the blueprints in your basement down there in the bunker? Well, yeah, I have that, but so far nobody's taken advantage of it. So I mean, I'm not gonna waste my time talking about it again if nobody's gonna take advantage of it. It would be really fun, right? It would be fun to be like, here's how you break into a thing. I could tell you, like, you go up through the drain pipe, like we did at USC a couple weeks back. I could tell you that, but nobody's been taking advantage of it. Okay, so for that reason, I decided not to talk about it this week. Anyway, it would be fun if people suggested one that they wanted me to teach them how to break into, and then I would definitely do that. But nobody does it, so we're not gonna talk about it. Okay, let's get to the guests. Y'all, let's get to the guests. Oh, wait. Real important. For longtime listeners, there's a celebrity in the stream, in the chat here. That one guy Connor something's back. He says, Lester, what's up? And to him, I say, that one guy Connor something, what's up? Okay, let's get to the guests. Now, my first guest is somebody I'm very excited to introduce. They are a person who taught themselves how to cook. And the name is Richard Watson. And here they are. Richard Watson, welcome to the show.
Hey, good to be here. Thanks for having me. Gosh, what an honor. I've never done a show before. This is fun.
You ever done a show before?
I mean, I know. I watch a lot of shows. So,
sure.
Yeah.
Is that how you're learning how to cook? You watching yourself a lot of cooking shows?
Oh no. I mean, I've seen a cooking show here and there, but what I've learned in quarantine, you don't need any expertise or anything to cook. You just take the shit in your can I say the SH word? Sorry.
Yeah, you say whatever words you want.
Okay, well that's probably the extent of it. But you take all the shit that you got in your cupboard, and you can just pile it on top of each other, and that's a recipe. That's all you need.
That's true. Yeah. Normally also a recipe would like include instructions for like what goes good with what, and then you follow that and you end up with a good result.
Yeah, and I think anything could be good if you just imagine that it is.
That's a really good point. Yeah.
You can power through anything and say, like, I guess this is good.
True. Yeah. I mean, what I've been doing mostly for food is either trying a new recipe for Popeyes, which generally doesn't work because it's not quite right, or eating canned cream corn. And both of those things, I'm like, hey, this is good. I hope you're doing better than that, though.
Hey, man, that's all it takes. I'm just taking stuff. And I'm like, what have I not put together today? And I was like, soy sauce. Add it to some ketchup, throw it on a salad, put that on a pizza pie, and it's a recipe.
Okay, wait. Let's get to the bottom of this recipe. And the bottom, of course, would be the pizza pie.
Yeah, you take a frozen pizza.
A frozen pizza is what a pizza pie is.
Yeah, a pizza pie, a pizza pie.
Right. So it's just like a pizza pie could mean like the crust that's uncooked or cooked. It could also mean like
the whole pizza pie.
A whole pizza pie. Okay.
Yeah, you toss that thing in the oven, or if you're feeling adventurous, put it on top of the stove. See if that cooks.
Okay.
Done that. It's good, but it's not the same. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then so he's going pizza pie, right? Then after that, and for sure, there's no chance that you said piece of pie and I misheard. That's not true.
Oh, now that's a good thing to add to the recipe. You take a pizza pie and you add a piece of pie.
Ooh, now he's cooking. But okay, so it's that, and then after that, you add in a salad.
Oh yeah, and you put a salad on top of that, and then you mix up ketchup and soy sauce. and then you put that on top. And then, you ever go to Trader Joe's?
Sure, yeah. Prior to the COVID's being up in the air, yeah.
Oh man, I love Trader Joe's, and you can get all sorts of stuff there. And I got a bunch of these things. You can put anything you want. I put an everything but the elote. That's a hot one. That's new. The everything but the bagel, really good. Sometimes I just put that in my mouth. I'm just like,
sure.
It's very good. You don't need anything else.
That's nice and salty. Okay.
Do whatever you want. That's a recipe.
No, I mean, that's true. I do think like when someone calls themselves a self-taught chef, what I'm thinking is like, oh, okay, so they've like learned how to make good food that you would see in like a restaurant or something. But it sounds like for you, that's more of like a label that you've just assigned to yourself.
Sure. And hey, you could see any of this in a restaurant. Put me in a building and that's a restaurant. If I'm serving you food, I think that's the definition of a restaurant. So
that's fair. That's fair. Have you been serving people food?
No, just me and my sweet wife and my 2 cats.
Okay, yeah.
So you know what? I didn't even think about it. I got a restaurant going on down here. I'm not taking in a whole lot of money, I tell you what, but I got a restaurant.
I guess you do, yeah, in a way. How's your wife feeling about all this? Is she on board? Is she participating?
Most of the time she makes her own meals, and I respect it. She says, she says, Rich, do your own thing. Okay. And I like it. She's like, she's given me room to do my thing. Mm-hmm. Every now and then I make her try. Okay. The other day I made this thing. It was great. So I took a bunch of peanut butter and then I cut up a bunch of apples and I was like, those go together. They're great. Okay, so I mixed that up and I made it into and then I added a bit of mayo to that. Cause I was like, what they use mayo for? Like a tuna salad sandwich.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
I made an apple salad sandwich.
Yeah.
So took a bunch of mayo, took a bunch of peanut butter, added some apples to it, put it on a sandwich, put it on a pizza pie, ate it, tried to give it to my sweet wife. And she had a biter. She had she smelled it. And
she did.
Yeah.
That's a bold step for her, I would say. Because just picturing what that would look like, I'm like, that's not a pizza pie.
Oh yeah, we have a lot of pizzas in the fridge. At the beginning of quarantine, we stocked up. Mm-hmm. We bought an extra freezer for the garage, stocked that full of pizzas, and now I'm just eating. That's one of my main staple. You take a bunch of pizza with like stuff on it. It's a meal.
That sounds good. Now I do have a question for you coming from the chat. That one guy, Connor something, wants to know, how do you feel about Wolfgang Puck?
Ooh,
Wolfgang Puck.
I've never been to one of his restaurants. However, his name is Wolf. That's a thing. Gang, True. That's a different thing. Puck, True. That's 3 different things. Mm. That's innovation. That man was made to be a chef. And that's why I know I'm on the right path. I'm taking one thing that doesn't belong with another thing that definitely doesn't belong with a third thing. And I'm putting them on a pizza pie and I'm eating them all up. And that's being a chef.
I suppose so. Yeah. What would you say? Like have you had like a culinary accomplishment where you're like, this is the thing, this should be on menus?
Oh, constantly.
Okay.
Yeah. So, okay. You get like a bunch of Chips Ahoy cookies, right? You you like rip off the top of them. I got one right here. You rip off the top. Okay. I've eaten quite a few of these, but we got one in here. Anyway, we've got, so you take a bunch of cookies and you mash them all up. I'm not going to do it right now because I don't have a bowl, but I'm going to eat a cookie because this is America the last time I checked.
Sure is. Yeah. Yeah.
So you take a bunch of cookies and you just mash them up into like one big old ball. So it's like a ball that's like this big. And then you take a bunch of cookies, delicious balls, fun. Okay. And then you take a bunch of like pancetta, and that's delicious. And you put it all on the outside of this cookie ball, right?
Okay. Now, this might only be me, but what is pancetta? The whole rest of the world might know what that is. I do not.
Okay. Pancetta is a meat. It's like a pork. And if you know what, I was thinking prosciutto.
Okay. Yeah. No, see, that one I know.
I don't know what that is actually. Is that it?
I'm feeling like it's maybe a frozen pizza that you've had before, like a pan version of prosciutto. Is that what it is?
You know what? I'm going to make a pancetta pizza pie right after this. I'm going to figure out what it is. And, it's probably, I got a feeling it's like bacon. But so is prosciutto.
Right.
Use the bacon. Use the bacon, use the prosciutto. But what I did, cookie ball, okay, wrapped it in this prosciutto-y pancetta thing, whatever this meat thing. It's thin slice, not cooked yet. And I wrapped it around this. And then I was like, why don't we cover this shit in chocolate, right? So I took a bunch of my leftover Snickers bars that I had for Halloween, and I melted them down because it's got chocolate, but it's also got nuts. You got a little nougat.
Sure, yeah, protein.
Mix that up, poured it on top. I don't know what more you need.
Honestly, that one.
Put stuff on there. I put a barbecue sauce on there.
Okay.
Great. Some salt.
Yeah, until the barbecue sauce, I was thinking like this could actually be okay because it's like sugar and meat. Sometimes that goes well together. A little bit chocolate, a little bit nuts. Yeah. But then you throw barbecue sauce on it. It's like I don't want my cookies with barbecue sauce. That's not me.
No. Well, you know what? More for me then. More for me.
Fair enough. Yeah, absolutely. Now, I have another question for you coming from the chat. Rach Resnick wants to know, what are your cats' names?
Oh, my cats are Pizza and Thomas Jefferson. They're good boys. I got a Thomas Jefferson right here. Come here, bud.
Oh, okay. Now, have you been making? Let's take a second and look at this cat before I get into this very important question.
Hello.
Oh, look at that guy.
Look at this Tom.
TJ. You ever call him TJ?
Constantly.
Nice.
He doesn't like it. He's like, my name is Thomas Jefferson.
He says that. That's good. Now, do you feed Thomas Jefferson any of your concoctions?
Oh yeah, he was getting getting kind of thin there at the beginning. Because first off, we ran out of cat food early on because I was like, it's ingredient.
Yeah, I'm sure you're using it. Yeah.
So yeah, he eats the same things I do, and we've never felt better.
Well, that's good. That's good. Yeah, that's very good. Now, again, your wife is making herself her own meals. Is she doing like experimental stuff, or is it mostly like, like a classic pad thai?
Oh, a pad thai. That's a dish. It's not a thing that I do because I'm an artist. I'm a creative, the creative of the house. She'll make a thing for herself, like a lasagna, or she'll make some noodles, little spaghetti and meatballs. I try to give her tips because I'm a creative guy.
Sure, yeah. How would you spice up a lasagna, for example?
The ways in which you could spice up a lasagna. Okay, what do I got here? This is a lemon zest salt. What is this? I don't know. I've never used this before the quarantine. I don't know how it got into my cupboard. It's half gone. Who ate it? I don't know.
I'm guessing either you or Thomas Jefferson.
Oh, God, what is that? I don't know, but I'm going to put this on a lasagna. That sounds great to me. Put some of that. I'm going to take some chicken wings. I love a chicken wing. You take a chicken wing, you dip it in barbecue sauce. You dip that in like a breadcrumb thing, and then you dip that in a peanut butter and jelly mixture. Slap it on top of a noodle.
That sounds good. Now I gotta ask Richard. A lot of people have taken up new hobbies in their COVID situations that kind of played off of what they got to do before quarantine in their regular lives. They're like, how do I apply this to how I'm living now? Were you combining and stuff to before COVID, or what was your life like? Oh
I'm a stay-at-home dad, and I have been since even before I was a dad. I was just a stay-at-home pre-dad. So
and that's a stay-at-home cat dad, right?
Oh yeah. No, I have a son. I have not seen him in a few years, but I'm a stay-at-home dad.
Gotcha.
And he went to college, and he
hey, good for him.
Yeah. We do phone calls, but he's always like, I'm busy. But he's a rascal. So we got the cats. We're constantly sending him, printing out photos of them, sending them to old Jacob. But yeah, I've been a stay-at-home dad. So I kind of been like the master of my domain for a long time. I've just never tried cooking before this,
So you are taking pictures of your cats on like a mobile device.
Oh yeah.
And then printing them out and then mailing them to your son?
Yeah, and I've got one of those flip phones too. So it's
you do? Okay.
Yeah, so the pictures are kind of grainy. So when I print them out, I have to like redraw in the lines, and recolor them a little bit here and there.
Oh wow! And you don't like combine other things into the images to make the images, sound better to you, do you?
What was that?
You don't like combine other things into the images when you're drawing?
Oh my God! Oh, that's a great idea.
Oh,
put some of this on one of those photos. See how it turns out.
Well, I don't know what lemon zest salt would really do to a photo, but I am curious to find out.
I mean, it doesn't smell like a food, but that doesn't mean it's not. Lemon zest salt.
The lemon zest or the photo?
Huh? Oh,
the lemon?
God, could you eat a photo? Ooh, that could be a fun layer to a lasagna.
Oh no, I think I've taken voodoo and applied like a thing that might make it real dangerous accidentally here.
I mean, anything's a food if you can put it in your mouth. So might as well try it.
That's stretching the bounds of what I can just say okay to, because it's like at the same time you could really put something in your mouth that is not good, like a big knife. That would not be good.
I mean, if a big knife is too big to fit in your mouth, that feels crazy.
Yep. Nope. You're right. I'm totally wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Now, was that a cookie with lemon zest on it? How's that?
Oh no, we've got the everything but the elote. I put it on a cookie.
Okay, that sounds kind of good, actually.
It's it's interesting. I'm gonna put in the everything but the bagel, because a cookie is basically a small bagel with no hole and chocolate chips. They're the same.
Yeah, that feels pretty true. Now, would you say that after quarantine, you're going to try to apply some of this learning to your life?
Oh, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I feel more creative than I have in years. I've been cutting my own hair. That was part of it at the beginning of it. I was like,
oh wow,
we don't need barbers anymore. And now
that's a very professional cut.
Thank you so much. My wife is like, let me fix it, and I'm like, leave me alone. I got it. Yeah. So I think I'm just letting the creative juices flow. Maybe I open a restaurant. Maybe I do one of those home restaurants where people come to me and I don't have to go anywhere.
Oh, that sounds pretty good.
I do that
now. We do have to get to our next guest here, which I'm very excited to do. But before we do that, I got a question coming to you through my publicist at Ezra Party on Instagram from somebody named @Claspell on Instagram here. Who, wow, looking at a picture, she kind of looks like if you didn't have a mustache or a wig on. That's interesting.
Sounds like a babe to me.
Not wrong. Now, what Claspell wants to know is, what's your favorite apocalypse meal? Oh, okay. And this is a question that if anybody's watched the show, they know my favorite apocalypse meal is obviously Popeye's Louisiana Kitchen Fried Chicken Strip. But what I will say is it's been hard to get that. So what my main apocalypse meal has been canned cream corn with water. Sometimes I boil it, sometimes I don't. Now, how about you there, Richard Watson? What's your favorite apocalypse meal?
Gosh, there's a lot. But here's I like to make a curry. And I make a homemade curry. So I use, like the curry stuff. I use cumin and turmeric. And then I've been using like this Cajun sauce, because I was like, Cajun curry, that's basically the same thing. These make it very fun. We got a bunch of sprinkles, some apples. I cut them about a week ago, so they're kind of brown, but they're pretty good. You add a bay leaf onto that. Okay. And then you mix them all up in a big old pot. And then you close your eyes, you open your fridge, you grab anything from the door, you throw that in. That's pretty good. That's a good curry.
That sounds somewhat like a curry, and that's pretty good. Now, Richard, we are going to get to our next guest. Please stick around, but we are going to bring in our next guest. She is a stand-up comedian. Her name is Lauren Baker, and she's coming to us from her house. Lauren, welcome to the show.
Hello. Can you hear
Hi.
me? I broke my headphones, so I don't know if you could hear me. Can you hear me?
No, yeah, we hear you just fine. What happened to your headphones?
Fabulous. Oh, I don't know. I probably stepped on them in the middle of the night, I'm actually not in my house. I'm in an Airbnb. Don't get me started.
Oh. I apologize for mislabeling where you was. I looked at it, saw a couch, and thought, oh, that's probably your house. What's going on with the Airbnb?
Oh, well, we're stuck in the middle of the country right now, my husband and I. So, we have to quarantine in an Airbnb. And we got to do it on the cheap. So we have to go into these places where there's animals. We got to feed these animals. I don't like cats. but they cuddle up next to me, and I don't know. I feed them. Shut up! I'm doing a
wow,
podcast.
Richard knows something about feeding cats. That's interesting.
Oh my God,
cats can be loud.
I
really
cannot wait to talk to Richard because Richard, get ready to have your mind blown. One of my favorite places in the whole world, Trader Joe's.
Oh wow!
Right next to me. Right next to me.
You gotta try everything but the elote. This is a hot tip for everybody watching. I put this shit on everything. Yum yum.
I like that. I took a picture of it with my phone while you were doing it.
You can print that picture out, take it with you.
Yeah, I probably will. Just put it in my purse because I'll forget.
Yeah.
Sure. But so why are you in the middle of the country and where would home be normally?
Oh my God, Lester. So my husband and I, Mark, we live in Methuen, Mass. Okay. And we drove all the way across the country because our son just said, "Hey, Mom and Dad, I'm going to go be a comedian in California." And we said, where? And he said, "Don't worry about it." So we drove all the way in the station wagon, all the way over to the top of California. And we started our way down. And we hit all the comedy clubs. Yeah.
You did. And I mean, you told me that you was a stand-up comedian. You started doing sets at these comedy clubs while you was going. Is that right?
Well, yeah. I mean, what happened was I came into these open mics. All right. And I would start by telling jokes, and then I would tell people, "I'm not really a stand-up comedian. I'm looking for my son. Has anybody seen him? He's got a very distinct look. He's got brown curly hair. He wears glasses. He has a plaid shirt. He wears jeans. Sometimes he has a lizard on his shoulder. Sometimes he has an eye patch on. And it was at first it was very sad, but people thought it was very funny that I was." So upset. And, to combat that, I started talking about my favorite place, Trader Joe's, because I'd never, there's no Trader Joe's in Methuen, Mass.
Really? They don't have that there?
No, I think now they do. I think we've been gone for so long. By the time I get back, there's going to be there's going to be one in my garage,
How long have you been on the road?
Oh, for 2.5 years.
Wow. 2.5 years.
Took us quite a long time to get all the way down to San Diego, but that's where we found him.
Oh, you found him. Oh, good. Okay. I was going to ask if I should keep my eyes out in the bunker, see if you come down here.
No, not unless you have an open mic,
No. Just this closed mic,
Okay.
That's what that joke deserved. Now, what was he doing in San Diego? That worked out?
He was doing stand-up, and I walked on stage. And because I didn't want to startle him, I was laughing in the back, and I could tell his eyes started twitching. So I was like, he knows I'm here, So I had Mark circle the circle a few times because he doesn't like to park anywhere and pay, And I was like, let me just pop in and do this quick mic. But then I saw him on stage, and I was flabbergasted, He looked totally different. He shaved his head.
Oh wow.
But then I just slowly crept up there and I started my bit. And then I just, I removed all the stuff about my son and I just talked about Trader Joe's and Aldi's because at that point I was on a big Aldi's kick as well.
Loving Aldi's.
Oh, I love an Aldi's. Do you know that their own Trader Joe's owns Aldi's?
Get out of town.
I swear to God.
Part of your stand-up. I'm loving it.
Thank you so much, Richard. I mean, we have so much in common. I can't believe we got booked on this comedy show.
And it's a crazy coincidence, and when that kind of thing happens, and it's, of course, this is not a comedy show. This is one of those shows that's very important, getting the word out about how you survive apocalypses. But some people laugh at it, which is okay. Now, but I mean, yeah, I mean, so would you say that you've kind of taken your son's dream in a way?
Well, I mean, what happened was, I was on stage and I could see him hustling out the back. So of course I called Mark. I was on stage. I called Mark and I said, he's coming out. I said, Scott's coming out, grab him. So, he tried chasing him down. He was on one of those birds and, he flew away from dead. But, he wrote him a check and he passed him a check and he said, your mom's very worried. You should probably Instagram message her or something. And he said, I can't believe she's a stand-up comedian now. And, my husband said, me neither. That was it. I didn't talk to him. Mark did, but
at least between the two of you, you managed to make contact. Now, have you been enjoying the life on the road as a stand-up, or have you just been focused on trying to find your son?
I mean, now I do because it's quarantine times,
Mhm.
I mean, we would have never have traveled across country like this and been able to stay in all these different people's houses. And I've just been doing the Zoom open mics. People started asking. I just became a hit. I don't know. I don't know what happened. I'm a 65-year-old woman who wants to hear me talk. Apparently, a lot of people.
Apparently, a lot of people. Yeah. Have you been getting I mean, you've been doing open mics and stuff, but have you found yourself getting like paid gigs too?
Oh, you get paid for this?
Some people do. Yeah. When they're doing well. Yeah.
Well, I do have an Etsy store that does very well. But, if that starts falling under, I'm going to start asking for a cut. What should I ask for? $20?
I mean, different. As far as I know, and this is just from going to open mics and trying to get people to let me talk about how important surviving apocalypses is, not from being a stand-up myself. But as far as I know, that's you can make that, you can make less, you can make more. It depends on the mic. But actually, what you just said does connect to a question that I got in the chat here, which
All
then
right.
one guy kind of something wants to know if what'd you do for a living before stand-up? And he did
Oh.
get your name wrong, but then he got it right.
Well, I mean, I was a mom, which is a job.
Mm-hmm.
And I basically started my Etsy store. I used to just make crocheted shoes for babies, and then I got into making crochet shoes for birds. And people, because they were like, make them smaller, make them smaller. I'm like, what kind of babies are these, preemies? But just bird shoes. That's it.
Yeah, this is crazy. I mean, you two do have so much in common, right? We got stay-at-home mom, we got stay-at-home dad.
I mean, the birds are babies. I mean, I don't understand it, but I'm having a great time.
I love it, Richard. I love it.
Birds are babies.
Birds and babies.
Birds don't have enough shoes. That's a fact.
That is a fact. That is a fact.
Sometimes you see a bird, it's got crazy feet.
They're like talons. You got to make then some birds have 3 and some birds have 4. So, it's like I have so many back orders right now.
Work is cut out for you, for sure. Yeah.
Oh, God. Yeah. Bird shoes.
Is it hard to do to maintain a crochet Etsy store when you're on the road doing so much stand-up all the time?
No, Mark drives city to city. I crochet right. I mean, I've gotten to a point where I could close my eyes, turn the lights off, and crochet in my sleep, if you know what I mean.
I think I do. Yeah, I think what you mean is that you would continue doing the needlework while you're sleeping.
I do sometimes, and I wake up all bloody, and Mark's like, something happened to you, and I was like, it's just my fingers. Chill out, Chill out, Mark. You crazy person.
Now it sounds like Mark is very supportive of you, driving you around the country all the time. Does he think you're funny?
Oh my God, I make him laugh all the time. I say stuff that's not even supposed to be funny, and he laughs at me. It's when I get mad. Oh, he thinks that's the most funniest thing he's ever seen. When we play Trivial Pursuit, forget it. He thinks I'm being funny. I'm trying to be smart, and he says you're dead wrong. You don't know states at all. You don't know history at all. And I was like, I know history. It's a whole thing. And I take some CBD and I take a nap.
That sounds very nice. Now I know it's kind of a flip pop to ask a stand-up comedian to do some of their material, but I gotta hear one of your Trader Joe's jokes if you got one ready. If you're willing to do it, if you're comfortable. If you're not, we'll be okay. But I'd really love to hear these Trader Joe's material. Well,
yeah, a lot of it's just commentary. But I did want to tell Richard there's a very good vegetable pad thai in the Trader Joe's. You microwave it. Ooh. You can add just about anything in there. There's tofu and vegetables, but you could put chicken. You could put hamburger. You could put some of that shrimp. I like taking 2 Trader Joe's meals and slapping them together. Like you were talking pizzas earlier.
Oh yeah, you put a pad thai on a pizza pie. Ooh,
I could see that working. Mm-hmm. I put the mushroom truffle flatbread. I take that, and I do the prosciutto arugula. I slap them together. I put them in the George Foreman. It's a panini pizza. Come on.
I feel like I'm learning more about cooking just chatting about Trader Joe's with you than I am in my own brain.
Well, Richard, we should start a podcast.
I mean, I'm into it. I love it. I think these are great ideas.
I think these are good ideas too. All right, I'll email you.
Yeah, I don't have email, but you can send me a letter. I'll post it in the comments.
Perfect.
My address. Yeah.
Perfect.
Great. I hope that works out. I'd love to see a spin-off podcast from Apocalypse Tips with Lester Pipps that's all about cooking with Trader Joe's. That sounds fantastic. Now, Lauren, I gotta ask you, since you've been on the road during the whole COVID quarantine situation, I mean, you were on the road, then you started doing the Zoom open mics, but have you experienced being out on the road thinking like, that's a COVID that's trying to eat my brain?
Oh my God, yeah. Have you ever driven through Utah?
Not even one time.
Oh my God. We were going, okay. First of all, they got the biggest signs outside of the stores being like, wear a mask, everybody wear a mask, which I'm like, thank God. All right, good. And then you walk in and no one's wearing masks. No, the employees have their masks like this. I went into the Starbucks that was inside the grocery store. Girl put a hand inside the cup. And I said, no, thank you. And she said, you ordered it. And I said, I didn't order COVID. And she goes, I'm so sorry. It's my first day. And I was like, that's the first line of every bad improv scene. Get out of here. I watched my son do improv.
Is that right? Now about your son, by the way, actually, something that I should have asked about earlier. I'm curious. Now, do you think that at some point you two would ever do like a bump and mic style Netflix special where you're both doing stand up and then at the end of it you bump mics and you're like, hey, nice job?
Oh my God, that would be amazing. Or we could do stand up at the same time. It would probably complement it.
Then you cut down the time.
Right. That's right.
Interesting. Yeah, I haven't seen a lot of folks combine two stand-ups into one stand-up before, but I feel like the two of you would be pro at that, you know?
Yeah, I mean,
we doing all the combining, Lauren doing all the stand-up, and there you go.
It'd be perfect, but he ran away, and now, I'm assuming he's going back east, so that's why we're heading back there. But, I think if I become very successful, then, maybe he'll change his tune. Maybe after this podcast starts going. I mean, I know Trader Joe's has their own podcast.
Get out of town.
They do. I had no idea. I saw it on the board where they try to be very funny. Sometimes they are. And I said, there's a podcast. And then I started listening to it regularly. It's very good. It's very good.
Interesting. I didn't know that. Now, you did say earlier that what you've been doing for places to stay when you was on the road is you've been doing a lot of house sitting where you're feeding pets.
Yes.
You ever feed a big pet?
A big pet?
Uh-huh.
Well, yeah, we're currently right now there's a Maine Coon here, which, I live in Massachusetts, so you see a lot of Maine Coons just kind of like scurrying around. It's either that or a raccoon, But
and that's like a big cat, is that what that is?
Oh my God, they're like lions. You can sit on them.
They roar?
If you're small enough. Well, that's sort of this one here. It sounds like he's been meowing so hard because sometimes I'll just ignore him for hours. But he has this meow now that's like this. Very cute, out of a giant animal. I
got a question about a Maine Coon. Are they all from Maine? And do they travel? They're not.
They do travel. They originated in Maine, and then. Well, it's like the Siamese cat, It's like you see them all over the place in America.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not just in Siamese, wherever that might be.
Right. A place that used to be called Siam and is now called, I'm going to get it wrong if I guess, so I'm not going to guess. Old name for a place. I don't remember the new name for the place. But listen, we are going to have to get to money. Thailand is the new name, is that right?
I think.
I hope you're right. Now, we do have to get my answers, but before we do, we got a question coming to me through my publicist at Ezra Partier on Instagram. And this question comes from at Amey Girl, and that's Amey with a M-E-Y. Let me put that up on the screen here. Where did it go? I put it in here. Oh, there it is. At Amey Girl, and Amey Girl wants to know where did the question go? At Amey Girl wants to know, how often do you get out? Okay, good question. Now, for me, I'll say one time I went to LSU Stadium to see if there was anything going on at the football team, and they told me that I got to leave because I don't work there anymore. But that's just me. And it sounds like, Lauren, you're getting out all the time, but how often do you get out?
I mean, honestly, I get out about every day because I stopped quarantine buying. And now I'll go in to go get a pot of a meal, and then I'm like, you know what I could really use? Some baby fresh organic arugula from Trader Joe's. So Mark knows that we have a daily Trader Joe run. So yeah, it's either that or Costco, because man, the Costco Christmas deals right now are unbelievable.
I don't think we have time to go into the Costco Christmas deals. That's like a 6-hour podcast, I bet.
Oh, so good.
Well, Richard, I'm going to ask you the same question. How often do you get out of the house?
Oh, I'm getting out maybe once a month, once every 2 months. Once I get out of most of the staples, we're low on pizza pies or
sure.
Base layer from food. Yeah, and I do a thing for myself. So like once every month, once every 2 months, we just stock on back up, and I'll go into the spice aisle and I'll just grab a thing I've never heard of, and I'll try to go down every single aisle and grab a thing that I've never bought before and try to incorporate it into a dish. I've eaten a bunch of napkins that way, and it wasn't ideal, but you could eat them. So.
Yeah, I wouldn't personally recommend eating napkins, but hey, you do you, Richard. Now, we are going to get to my next guest, who is a servant to the Ancient One. I'm seeing in the waiting room here that their video is not on, which I don't know if it's intentional or not, but I'm going to add them to the stream, and we're going to find out. Servant to the Ancient One, welcome to the show.
Hello, Lester Pipps. You do not need to see my face. My voice is all you will need to understand. And actually, hold on. I'm sorry. I think the light might have. Hold on. I think that helped. Yeah, that helps a little. Hold on. Yeah. Sorry, I'm not good with the technology.
No, that's okay. Yeah, I mean, we can see you or we can not see you, whatever you need. But I will say, anybody who's watched the show for a long time knows it's real hard for me to see through the sunglasses, so it's real dark over here. But that's okay. Servant of the H1, what does that mean?
It means I serve a life form that existed before life itself, a demon older than civilization.
Oh my God, that's not the X-Men supervillain Apocalypse, is it?
No.
Oh, thank God. I've been warning people about that guy for years.
No, our Apocalypse has sort of nebulous powers. Our demon has very well-defined powers, and he will crush and destroy all who oppose him. So,
oh, wow. He's got very well-defined powers? Would you please define them well?
He will sweep across the entire world and rain death and chaos upon all. He has a wind. He blows a wind and it'll kill people. He kills people. It's very cool.
Okay. Well, I mean, that sounds terrible. I hope that doesn't happen.
Like a big bad wolf. Blows the wind.
Big bad wolf?
No, it's more scary than a big bad wolf is. Obviously, this creature existed before.
Sounds like my mother-in-law.
Okay, that's very funny. And yes, he does huff and puff and blow houses down. But you should fear him. And the only way to survive this onslaught is to join us in our praising of the Ancient One.
Ooh, wow. Well, now, one thing that I've advised folks on the show before is whenever there's a cult trying to get you to join the cult, don't join the cult, which it sounds like this might be what that is. So, I'm a little bit hesitant, but at the same time, it's like, could be good. What would it entail?
Joining us is not joining a cult. It is literal survival. No bunker will protect you. But basically, you start off with an unpaid thing, and you pretty much you learn with experience. And that's what we're doing here. Is we're bringing in people and we're giving them real life skills experience. So maybe you'd be getting coffee, or maybe you'd be interning for our social media program, or different things. Lots of different stuff. There's a lot of good options. Kind of depends what angle you want to go into it.
Okay, so it's kind of like an internship for you're a servant to the Ancient One, but you use advertising like maybe being an intern to an Ancient One.
No, this is an internship. This is, of course, a savior of your very soul, because the Ancient One will kill you if you don't join. But it is unpaid, and you are getting credits. And there are a few universities that do accept these as official credits, but that's not, it's not an internship. But yeah.
I mean, wow. I mean, college credit could be useful for some folks, but at the same time, it's like, I imagine once you join the Ancient One service, it's probably pretty hard to get out if you wanted to.
Yes, well, I mean, the standard Ancient One service is at least 6 months unpaid. And I mean, you will have to be in it for an eternity, more or less, when the Ancient One rises. But once you're in, you're making connections for a lifetime. So that's very important with one of these.
Intern yourself? How did you go from intern to servant?
Well, my bloodline, of course, is very special, and we have worshipped the Ancient One for generations. So yeah, sort of my dad got me in. He kind of got me the job. He started me off as like an assistant, and then I moved up to executive vice president.
Whoa. Wow, I didn't realize the Ancient Ones had nepotism too, but I suppose that makes sense.
You got
the Ancient One under.
You serve lunch there?
Is my what? What?
Do they serve lunch?
Yeah. Well, okay. So some people get a paid lunch, but there are snacks in the snack machine. But yeah, make your own stuff before you come in. And we have a very robust vending machines. We have 3.
This reminds me of Shackley. Do you, Richard? Do you remember Shackley back in the day? Oh yeah, you'd buy. I mean, it's a pyramid scheme, but they get you to buy boxes and boxes of vitamins.
Yes. Oh, I bought a bunch of those vitamins. I bought so many. I'm still living off of them. They're great.
Me too. Yeah, they are great. They are great. But sounds just like that.
And Lauren, how dare you speak ill of my teachings? These are ancient held religious beliefs, and yes, of course, you do have to buy specific elixirs and delicious meals, but that is 100% about ascending into the Ancient One's ancient power, and not also. But they have vitamins, and they're high protein.
What sort of vitamins you got in these meals? Because I got a vitamin D deficiency. I tell you what, I'm not seeing the sun a whole lot these days. It doesn't look like you are either. So.
Richard, you've made a wise decision. We have a wide variety of vitamin-based meals. We have, of course, our own special blended bone broth, which has over 15 different vitamins included. We also have some MRE, some meals ready to eat, and we sell those at a pretty low price. We got a nice lasagna. That's my personal favorite.
Love lasagna.
Pretty good. Yeah, and you can top that with anything. You can toss anything you want in there and really add something to that. And of course, you will have to brand yourself and wear the amulets and leave all who oppose us behind. But for the amount of lasagna you're getting for $19.95 a week, you're not gonna miss them.
$19.95 a week. I mean, that's going to add up real quick, but I'm more concerned about the brand, if I'm being honest. One thing that I've always said is if anybody wants to light a big fire, put an iron in it, and then put that iron in your body, that's going to hurt.
Yeah, it's facts.
It's something I've always said. And for me, I would avoid a brand personally.
Lest their pain breeds strength.
I think, I mean, it depends on what the brand looks like. Okay, I got a couple tattoos myself in my youth, and you know what? Once you got one bad tattoo that you regret, why not another?
Yeah.
I suppose so. Yeah.
Richard, the brand is one. It is a symbol that will protect you when the end days comes, and 2, it's very cool looking. It's like pretty much a dragon, and it has a couple of arms. It's a dragon with arms, and the arms have swords in them. It's pretty cool. I'd show you mine, but I'd have to kill you. But yeah, you're not gonna regret it.
Sometimes people say that like it's a joke, but I felt like you really, really meant that.
Yeah, me too.
You could add that to your stand-up. That's a good one.
I will. I'll put it in my skits.
Yeah,
no.
I love it.
Uh-oh. Now, the two of you seem like you... Look, I love that you got along with each other. That made sense. But now it seems like he was getting along with the servant to the ancient one pretty chummy. And I'm a little worried that I've not only made a podcast happen, but I've also set up two people to join a death cult.
No.
Is there a death part of this? Because I like being alive. But I can be easily swayed.
If I bought that much food from the servant, then I wouldn't be able to go to Trader Joe's. Think about it. Think about how many Shackley's we still have left in our garages, Richard. You don't want to get involved with the servant of the ancient one. I'm telling you right now.
First of all, you can supplement. You don't have to just eat what we have. But you're going to want to have a lot on hand when the world ends. And this isn't a death cult. This is a life cult because we're going to be the only ones living. No bunker will protect you, Lester. Only the ancient one. Devotion.
I gotta ask you.
Also,
Have you ever seen this? It's a lemon zest salt, and I don't know where it came from. I've never seen it before in my life.
Okay.
It's a lemon zest.
Just see if I can.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, I don't know where it came from.
Jacobson, huh?
It's like half gone.
Does it have an expiration date?
Yeah, it says it expired August 2020. So.
Ooh.
That's not bad. You just
that's not bad.
Take the top off.
Just forever.
Skim off the top. Throw in the trash. That's what I do with all my cheese.
Oh yeah.
All right, get a little bit of mold, cut it off. I can't eat a giant block of Costco cheese. I freeze half of it, but sometimes I forget it's there.
Yeah.
It molds up. I just chop it off, throw it away. It's fine.
That's real good advice. Now, servant to the ancient one, I gotta ask you, you ever met the ancient one?
No, the ancient one has not risen yet. But I have written some poetry that I will read to the ancient one when, of course, he rises.
Ooh, you should give a little bit of a four sampling, four being FORE, four sampling of that.
If you're gonna twist my arm, sure, I would love to read some of that. Hold on a second.
We got an artist here.
Grab my note. Gotta grab my notepad.
Sure, I'm excited. Take all the time you need.
Sometimes I feel like I'm living more in here than I am, in this cave.
I don't think that was a joke.
That's a good one.
Blood. I will rain blood for you. All who oppose you will die. Okay. But I see something in your eye. Love. And appreciation for all the hard work I have achieved. Maybe we could go to the store and slaughter there together. Maybe down by the river, we could hold each other. You could call me Heather. Yeah, that's just a piece. It's an epic. It's an epic poem.
Hey, that's a really nice poem. That made me feel for sure. Now, prior to being named servant to the ancient one, was you named Heather?
I can't reveal anything about my life before the ancient one. Of course, you understand that
sure.
Life is behind me.
Sure. You were born into it, so I suppose, that life didn't last very long.
I was born into it, and yes, some people did call me Heather. Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Hey, it sounds like that poem is kind of you pining for both the love of another and also a little bit of a return to your past life. Now, AC Improv in the chat does say, but your name is now servant to, and maybe Heather's a better fit.
The Handmaid's Tale.
I guess I haven't really thought about that. I'm supposed to be leaving my earthly life behind to live in devotion of the ancient one, obviously.
Sure, yeah. But it seems like you've been doing that since you was a little child.
You could combine them. You could be Heather to the ancient one.
Yes, that's what I was trying to say. They do the Handmaid's Tales. They're like, if a man's name is Eugene, you're of Eugene. So you could be servant to of Heather, something like that. Servant to Heather. Yeah, I like that. That's nice.
Yeah, AC Improv is saying you could be empowered. Put yourself first. Be servant to Heather.
Wow,
Bingo.
honestly, I've never thought about that before. I guess I'd have to consult some ancient texts, but Heather's just a cool name, really, and I just think maybe the ancient one would appreciate how cool that is. Thanks. I'll do that.
I hope the ancient one would appreciate you for you, not just for your service to them. I want that for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Absolutely. I appreciate that. But I'm not here for me. Obviously, I'm here to recruit people to join the ancient one. Sorry, hold on. I should get a little more mysterious. Again, yes, I'm here to recruit people for the ancient one.
Okay, well, we're running out of time, so I hate to say this, but Heather, I don't think you succeeded at recruiting anybody. Unless Richard Lauren, are you at the moment thinking that you want to join the ancient one?
Nah, I'm good.
Send me a postcard. My address is 5722 East 5th Avenue. That's in Van Nuys, California.
Oh my God, Richard, you're in California. I can't wait. I could come visit.
Oh yeah, pop on up.
I love it.
I'm so excited that you two hit it off like this. Now, we do have to wrap up here, but I do have a question coming to me from through my publicist from at ZH Jobe on there. Who, if I'm looking at the picture of ZH Jobe and then I'm looking at the ancient one, I can't tell because the ancient one's in the dark, but I bet they look similar. Now, ZH Jobe wants to know, how do I survive a bear attack? Okay, great question. That's a great question. I'll answer that first. How do I survive a bear attack? Personally, I stay down in the bunker and I don't let the bears in the bunker. But then if a bear got into the bunker, well, down here, I got a lot of cans of cream corn and a high-powered T-shirt cannon so I could fire those cans of cream corn at the bear. That's what I would do. What about you, Servant Ancient One? How do you survive a bear attack?
Well, first of all animals will bow to us because, the Ancient One has power and dominion over all things. But if not, if it happens before the Ancient One rises, get big. You got to make yourself seem really big. And then, try to seem like not a threat, but never turn your back on the bear. And also probably I would read some of my poems because I think to know that you love.
Yeah, I accidentally stopped you from saying read it some of your poem, but I love that suggestion. I think that's a great idea. I apologize for that. Now, well, we are just like out of time, so what I want to just do right now is I don't have time for everybody to say a last word of advice. I apologize. I overextended myself here. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna do what we do every week, which is end the show very unceremoniously. That was the show. Now we did it. You know how to survive an apocalypse. If anything should go down, you'll be okay. And for that we say you're welcome. Also, we gotta say thank you to all these amazing guests. Find them on the internet, and then you'll never not know when they doing fun and stuff. And that's what the fun of the show is. Also to survive apocalypses. And hey, we hit both those nails on the head with one bird or something, I guess like that. So anyway, I gotta say thank you to the Peck Theater. What? But yeah, thanks to them.